What's up, guys? Sam Taggart here with DDD Experts. And in this video, I'm going to go through a step-by-step process from recruiting all the way through training, all the way through leadership development. And when you're dealing with finding reps, hiring them, and actually scaling them, this is always a big hardship from team manager or an owner. Now, if you're a sales rep, you might have been through this pipeline, but I'm going to walk you through how to go create the pipeline of not to get more deals, but to get more people through your pipeline to again get them performing. So I'm going to show you guys this big diagram. We're going to go through this thing step by step. And so pay attention because the end is the most important piece. Because most people are like, I need recruits, Sam, I need recruits. And I'm like, no, you need producing reps. So drop in the comments a thumbs up if you're like, yes, I need producing reps. What you don't need is bodies that quit in 2 weeks. What you don't need is people that are like face tatted up and don't really perform and sit in the office all day and do nothing. What you want is savage carnivore sales reps that are producing on a high level out of their free will. So I'm going to show you exactly how to go do that. And we're going to start this with the blue and the red. So as I go through this, I want you guys to follow along, take some notes. And then if you guys need help with this, DDD Experts for the last 8 years has helped more businesses in the direct sales space than any other company in the world. And of the thousands of companies we've helped out, whether it's training, recruiting services, or just in-person events and things like that, we have taught this formula and kind of fine-tuned and fine-tuned and fine-tuned. So I've taken the best practices from all sorts of different industries, from Cutco to roofing to solar to pest. And I've kind of condensed it into this foolproof formula, which I'm going to show you guys right here. So what the blue is what Recruit-O-Matic does, which is one of our sister companies. It's a done-for-you recruiting. What the gray is what we have our clients do, and then what the dark gray is what we do together, and then what the red is what DDDU, our online training academy, does. Or you could just copy this whole thing and try to build it yourselves, and that will just take you, forever, and it won't be nearly as good, and it'll save you time and money if you just used us. So one, it's helping you understand what we do, but two, you guys can go do this. It's just 90% of business owners that we found say they do it and say they want to do it, but then they don't do it nearly even close to as much as we do. So Recruit-O-Matic, we're going to start here because here's how you need to do it. You place an ad, and that could be on social media, Facebook, or Indeed. And we're talking just high volume recruiting, not using in-person events, not using shoulder tapping, headhunting, things like that. This is just a consistent lever you can pull on that will get recruits through the door in an application phase. But what happens is scheduling. So a lot of people post an ad, and we've helped with hundreds of companies with this. We'll post their ads, then we schedule the interviews for you, and then you don't even call the leads. It's like getting leads and not calling them in sales would be the same equivalent of posting ads, getting applications, and then not having a super quick dialed-in process to get them connected with. So what we do is we use an AI texting system that is a conversationalist bot that will then work to schedule them an appointment. So if they're not responding, we're then hitting them back up. If they schedule an appointment, they no-show, then we put them down a nurture campaign. So just like you would with leads, it's like you might have a bunch of leads that don't answer the first and second time, but it's like, what's your nurture sequence to actually go get them to get on an interview? So if you do what's called the Recruit-O-Matic Silver program, you would do the first interview. If you do what's called Recruit-O-Matic Gold, we would actually be running those group interviews with a recruiting expert, doing it for you. So what we recommend is either scheduling right to a first interview or going to a group interview. At that point, they either show or they don't show. So what's going to happen right here, you get the scheduled, no show, continue to nurture, and then book them here. So they do show, they're going to move to a in-person or a over the phone second interview. We highly recommend this second interview because the fall off, what's going to happen right here is you're going to have fall off. So from here to here, let's say I have 1,000 applications that come through, about maybe 500 of them are worth talking to, and then about 250 will actually talk to you, and then about 150 of them will show up, and then about 75 will show up to here, and then about 30 or so will actually offer the job to. And so what ends up happening in this funnels per se is most people don't have the stamina. It's like door knocking. I knock 100 doors, I might get one deal. So you have to go through the 100 to get the 1. It's the same thing in high volume recruiting. Is they're like, man, I placed an ad, I got 30 applicants, I didn't get anybody to hire. I'm like, yeah, because you had this whole funnel they had to go to get here. You just need to up the volume here, okay? So when you play this game of high volume, it's going to just take personal resources and actual somebody dedicated to run this. Hence why a lot of people hire Recruit-O-Matic to go do that for them. But let's go back to this thing. So you offer the job, and this is where most people fail, is they send this onboard packet, and then they're like, okay, what's next? So we have on this onboard packet a registration to DDD University. So DDD University is an online training platform that has over 8 hours of industry-specific content. But this is where it gets better. With over 750 companies, we've actually gone out and filmed this custom content, white labeling our platform. So we've done it in probably 25 different industries, where we'll actually send our camera guys out, we film, we edit, we have a template where you guys put in the toppings and we already have the cake. We have an apprentice process and then a pro, and we'll get into that. So here is an online training piece that we recommend you have some pre-boot camp videos. So this is kind of the cake. So you have this pre-start. They watch about 5 videos, okay? And the 5 videos, what they're doing is they're showing them who the company is, what we do, what we're about, but then you're actually showing them if they watched them or not, because they're going to show up to the first 2-day in-person boot camp, which you guys are going to host. So the in-person boot camp, if they don't watch the videos, that's the first indicator of these probably aren't that committed. Those that watch the videos, you're like, they're committed. It's an indicator. Then you're going to shadow them day 1. They're going to shadow you, they're going to shadow you day 1. You're going to shadow them day 2, and then you're going to do a scavenger hunt day 3. During their first week of training, this is week 1. What you're going to do is you're going to have them watch our apprentice content. They're going to get passed off, and they're going to get their first certification, the DDD apprentice. So this has a series of about 3 hours of content. If you took this plus your content, it'd be about a 3-hour training that they're going to do at night or in the morning during week 1. You're going to do daily check-ins. They're going to go knock on their own, and then on Friday or Saturday, you're going to do a one-on-one and you're going to do a pass-off. What's then going to happen is when they complete the apprentice, they got passed off, this is week 1, here's your 90-day ramp-up. You're going to track their hours, their doors and contacts, supplemental training in between, correlation meetings, and other pitch pass-offs. That's what you're doing in person to create the culture. This piece is you're doing a game on KPIs. So this is all training, but now you're saying, how do I race for my first 14 days? We call that a fast start. So for time's sake, I'm not going to go super into that. That's why we have our business boot camps, is we talk about culture, we talk about how to structure those and such. So if you're interested in coming out to an event of ours, we'll walk you through all of the nuances of those or our consulting. So I'm going through this fast, but I want you to then take and pause and go implement and do what you do. So now we've got an 8 to 9 hours. This took us about 8 years of development, and then we redid all of it for the last year. And we said, how do we have the perfect roofing, perfect solar, perfect fiber, perfect alarm, perfect saddle or pest control? And we said, okay, we will make the perfect training. The only thing we don't have is custom content, which is your product warranties, your CRM, your payment processing, things like that we can't do. So we just help you put that together to go into that. And now they get their pro certification, and that we'd have them do over the first 90 days. So after 90 days, so when I'm recruiting somebody, here's where businesses go wrong. Is they're like, recruit. Then they go and say, yeah, I got a bunch of guys. And then they all quit right here because they have no training system. And I'm like, okay, what if you actually implemented half of this stuff? How much more training, how much more retention and how much more production would your people do? And so we've just kind of cracked the code on this at DDD Experts, where we're like, can we just do most of this for you? We'll recruit them, we'll train them. You just have to kind of follow the gray line and do these things and not be an idiot, okay? So next, after 90 days, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, this guy's actually performing. How do you then start pre-promoting a recruiting track where you have 27 hours of recruiting university, and then we have a sales manager university that has about 10 hours of how to run effective sales teams, sales meetings, how to go have rep management conversations, crucial conversations, etc. And then you can throw in whatever content you want into our platform. What then happens is you built this sales management and leadership development. Where most people fail is they recruit reps, they don't recruit future leaders. And so even from the conversations you're having going back here when you're doing your first group interviews, I even like to talk about our leadership development track, how we do that. And I show them our digital platform and say, we even have hours and hours of hours to develop you as a leader. And we see you in 6 months or a year opening up your own teams or being a co-manager, assistant manager, etc. So we built this, designed literally over the last 8 years and hundreds of companies trial and testing this to be the perfect formula to scale, find, and grow talent in the direct sales space. So if you're somebody that's like, hey, I'm gonna take this all on, every component of this, and you could do that, the question is how much time are you taking out of recruiting and out of actually being in the field selling versus just having somebody else do it? And if you're like, cool, I wanna go do it, we have playbooks, just comment playbook in the comments and we will send you an 80-page playbook. Check this out. Shoving, I'm gonna give you a gift. Recruiting playbook, leadership playbook, sales planner, we don't wanna do that one. But essentially we have a business and leadership playbook, and this is what I would highly recommend for this stuff. And then we have a recruiting playbook that I would highly recommend for this stuff. So just comment playbook, which one you want in the comments, and then we'll reach out and send you kind of the different systems that you're gonna implement in this. But here to help you out, wanna make you an all-star. And if you got some value out of this, we'd love to see it. Hit a follow in the bottom, and we'll see you on the next video.